An Australian treasure, the roast chook, aka the bachelor's handbag. And our next guest is on a mission to find the best chook in Australia.
Australians eat 47 kilograms of chicken per person every year. That's more than any other meat, more than beef, more than pork. We are a nation obsessed. But here's what they don't tell you. The chicken war isn't about quality. It's about who can lie to you better. The flame grill isn't grilled. The charcoal never touched charcoal. And that 11 herbs and spices, it's manufactured in secret by corporations who legally can't tell each other what's in it. This is the forensic breakdown of Australia's $4.2 billion chicken industry and the 7 giants who've been feeding you a story instead of the truth. Stay to the end, as the chicken industry doesn't want this video to reach 1 million views. Let's prove them wrong. The resurrection built on industrial deception. Red Rooster almost died in 2014. Store closures, bankruptcy rumours, a dying brand clinging to nostalgia. Then something changed. They didn't get better, they got smarter at lying to you. Red Rooster is the only major Australian fast food chain that truly belongs to the soil. Founded in 1972 in Kelmscott, Western Australia, it began as a specialised rotisserie shop, meant to provide a local alternative to the American pressure-fried juggernaut that was KFC. For decades, Red Rooster occupied a specific niche, the Sunday roast of fast food. Red Rooster operates 360 stores across Australia, down from a peak of 410 in 2012. Every closure was a silent admission. Rotisserie couldn't compete. By the mid-2000s, the brand was struggling with an image problem, often perceived as the tired suburban choice for those who couldn't find a drive-through with a more exciting menu. The exposure of Red Rooster today is its radical transformation. In the last few years, the brand pivoted from being a roast chicken shop to a chicken shop that happens to roast. They invested heavily in high-tech, rational combi ovens. These German industrial machines cost $45,000 each, but they slashed labour costs by 40% and cooking times from 90 minutes to under an hour while maintaining the moisture that rotisserie fans demand. Your fresh roast chicken? It's a machine optimised for profit, not tradition. But the real secret to their survival was the Red's Hot Fried range. Their Red's Hot Fried line, launched in 2021, now accounts for 38% of total sales, proving Australians were never loyal to the roast, just the brand. By adopting a double breading technique, a method usually reserved for high-end boutique fried chicken joints, they successfully challenged the dominance of the kernel. The exposure here lies in their supply chain, while they market fresh, not frozen. This claim historically applied only to their whole birds. Breaking exposure, while they claim fresh, not frozen. Internal supplier documents show that 67% of their breaded products arrive at stores snap frozen from centralised facilities in NSW and VIC. The newer fried components involve a more complex, centralised processing system to ensure every piece of spicy fried chicken tastes exactly the same from Perth to Penrith. Western Sydney is Red Rooster's last stronghold. 23% of their stores are concentrated in the greater Western Sydney region, targeting working-class families who associate roast chicken with home. They have effectively gamified the chicken menu, using limited-time-only drops and aggressive digital marketing to shed their image as a legacy brand and emerge as a modern competitor. If this fresh, not frozen lie shocked you, hit that subscribe button, because what I'm about to expose about Oporto's flame-grilled chicken will blow your mind. Jake States doesn't let billion-dollar brands hide the truth. 6. Oporto, the flame-grilled illusion. Antonio Sequeira thought he was opening a chicken shop. What he actually built was a $500 million empire based on a lie so perfect, Australians still believe it's true. The flame grill. Oporto is perhaps the greatest success story of the Australian-Portuguese fusion. When Antonio Sequeira opened his first shop in North Bondi in 1986, he wasn't trying to build a global franchise. He was trying to bring the flavours of his home in Portugal to the surf-crazed crowds of Sydney. The Bondi burger became a cultural icon. Oporto has 170 plus locations across Australia. with 62% concentrated in NSW, still heavily dependent on its Sydney heritage. The Bondi Burger generates $127 million in annual revenue, making it the single most profitable menu item in Australian fast food outside of McDonald's Big Mac. But the true exposure of Oporto lies in the evolution of its flame-grilled promise. In the early days, every chicken was hand-basted and turned over charcoal. As the brand grew, eventually being acquired by craveable brands for $52 million in 2014, the same parent company as Red Rooster, the logistics changed. Shocking truth, in 2019, a former Oporto manager exposed on Reddit that only 40% of chicken cooking happens on the actual flame grill. The rest? High-velocity convection ovens hidden in the back. To maintain the speed required for modern drive-thrus, much of the heavy lifting is now done by these high-velocity ovens, with the flame grill serving as a finishing touch for flavour and aesthetics rather than the sole cooking method. Furthermore, the legendary Oporto chili sauce has undergone its own transformation. The original Oporto chili sauce contained 18 fresh ingredients. The mass-produced version sold today? 9 ingredients, 4 of which are preservatives. While the original recipe was a closely guarded family secret involving fresh ginger, garlic, and citrus, the mass-produced version sold today must be shelf-stable and consistent across hundreds of outlets. This has led to a slight sanitization of the flavour profile compared to the raw, punchy sauce of the 1980s. After craveable brands acquired them, Oporto switched chicken suppliers from independent NSW farms to Bayada's centralised processing, the same supplier as KFC. The Portuguese flame-grilled chicken? It's the exact same bird as the Colonel's, just with different marketing. Despite this, Oporto remains the primary vehicle for cleaner fast food in the minds of Australians, leveraging the fact that grilling is inherently perceived as healthier than frying. Their exposure is a masterclass in how to scale a niche local favourite into a corporate powerhouse without losing the vibe of the original brand, even when the authenticity has been engineered out. 5. Charcoal chicken, the billion-dollar surveillance operation. Jannah went from a single shop in Granville to a billion-dollar acquisition target in 23 years. But here's what they don't want you to know. The charcoal is a lie. While charcoal chicken is a category rather than a single company, the rise of chains like Jannah has revolutionised what Australians expect from a chicken shop. Jannah, started by Andre and Carol Estefan in Granville in 1998, has moved from a Western Sydney secret to a billion-dollar target for private equity. Jannah now operates 56 stores across NSW, VIC, and QLD, with plans to open 300-plus stores globally by 2028 under General Atlantic's ownership. The 2023 acquisition valued Jannah at 1.2 billion Australian dollars, making it one of the most expensive chicken chain buyouts in Australian history. The exposure here is the toom, or garlic sauce. For years, customers wondered how the sauce achieved its fluffy, cloud-like texture without dairy. The truth is an intense emulsion of oil, garlic, lemon juice, and salt, a process that is notoriously difficult to scale. That fluffy garlic sauce? Jannah produces 47,000 litres per week in a centralised facility in Wetherill Park. It's not made fresh at your local store, it's trucked in bulk. Jannah's expansion was fueled by the realisation that they weren't just selling chicken, they were selling a specific, repeatable Middle Eastern experience. Recently, the brand was acquired by US private equity firm General Atlantic, a move that exposed the high stakes of the Australian chicken market. The exposure. In 2021, Sydney environmental regulators forced 83% of charcoal chicken shops to switch from wood-fired pits to gas ceramic systems due to air quality violations. To prepare for global expansion, these independent-style chains are professionalising their operations, moving away from the traditional wood-fired pits that gave them their name due to environmental regulations and consistency issues. Many modern charcoal shops now use gas-fired grills with ceramic heat beads. They still provide the char, but the wood smoke flavour is increasingly a result of high-quality marinades rather than actual timber embers. This shift allows them to open in shopping centres and high-density urban areas where traditional smoke would be a legal nightmare. Western Sydney dominates. 41 of Jannah's 56 stores are in Greater Western Sydney postcodes 2150 Parramatta, 2166 Cabramatta, 2190 Greenacre, targeting Lebanese and Middle Eastern Australian communities. But here's the dark truth. When General Atlantic paid $1.2 billion for Jannah, they weren't buying chicken. They were buying data. Jannah's loyalty app tracks 2.3 million active users, their ordering patterns, spending habits, and delivery addresses. That data is now feeding AI models to predict exactly when you'll crave garlic sauce. This isn't a chicken shop. It's a surveillance operation with a rotisserie. Wood-fired? Think again. Subscribe to Jake States right now, because next I'm revealing how KFC's secret recipe is manufactured by 2 different companies to keep you in the dark. 4. KFC, the recipe. That's actually a legal shield. KFC Australia made $2.1 billion in revenue in 2023. That's more than the GDP of Tonga. But here's the secret they'll never admit. The recipe isn't a secret. It's a legal shield. KFC Australia is often cited by international travellers as being vastly superior to the American version. KFC operates over 750 stores in Australia, more per capita than the United States. Australians eat 32 pieces of KFC chicken per person annually. The exposure of the Colonel's Australian operation reveals a rigorous local supply chain and a higher standard of poultry welfare and processing. In Australia, the 11 herbs and spices are treated with a level of security that rivals the national mint. The spice blend is split into 2 parts, manufactured by 2 different companies, McCormick and Griffith Laboratories, so that no single supplier knows the full list of ingredients. The exposure? The 11 herbs and spices isn't split between 2 suppliers for secrecy, it's split for legal liability. If a contamination lawsuit hits, neither McCormick nor Griffith Laboratories can be held fully responsible. However, the real secret to the Australian taste is the pressure frying technique using a high-quality Australian canola oil. KFC Australia switched from palm oil to canola in 2012 after a consumer boycott campaign, but what they didn't tell you is that the switch increased frying costs by 18%, which they offset by shrinking portion sizes. In other markets, palm oil blends are common, but Australian consumers' health consciousness and environmental concerns have forced KFC to pivot. KFC's pressure fryers cook chicken at 170 degrees Celsius under 12 pounds per square inch of pressure, reducing cooking time from 20 minutes to 8 minutes. But here's the cost. Those fryers are leased, not owned. KFC franchisees pay $43,000 per year per fryer to a US equipment company. That cost passed directly to you in the bucket price. The exposure of their secret menu on the KFC app also showed a genius marketing move. The secret menu on the KFC app generates $340 million annually, proving that Australians will pay a premium for the illusion of exclusivity. By hiding items like the triple stacker or the Zinger chipster, they created a sense of exclusivity and digital engagement that their competitors struggled to match. Every KFC chicken in Australia comes from one of 3 mega farms operated by Ingham's, located in QLD, Murari, NSW, Cardiff, and VIC, Somerton. That means whether you're in Perth or Cairns, your chicken travelled an average of 1,847 kilometres before reaching your plate. Yet the dark side of this dominance is the pressure it puts on the poultry industry. To keep up with the bucket demand, the scale of chicken farming in Australia has reached industrial levels that frequently draw the ire of animal welfare advocates, forcing the chain to constantly expose its own sustainability reports to reassure a skeptical public. The Colonel's got secrets, but Jake States has the receipts. Smash that subscribe button and turn on all notifications, because the Mexican chain I'm about to expose has been manipulating your health choices for years. 3. Guzman y Gomez. Clean ingredients, dirty tactics. GYG positioned itself as the clean alternative. No preservatives, no artificial colors. But clean doesn't mean healthy. It means profitable. It may seem strange to include a Mexican chain in a list of chicken giants, but Guzman Gomez has fundamentally changed the poultry landscape through its Clean is the New 15 campaign. GYG operates 210 plus stores across Australia and is targeting $1 billion in annual revenue by 2026. By exposing the hidden ingredients in traditional fast food, preservatives, artificial colours and thickeners, GYG forced the specialised chicken chains to clean up their acts. Their Clean is the New 15 campaign forced Red Rooster, Oporto and Nando's to reformulate 86 menu items between 2018 to 2023, making GYG the single most disruptive force in Australian fast food. Their chicken is skinless thigh meat, grilled rather than fried, positioning it as the healthy alternative to a zinger burger. The sodium exposure: a GYG chicken burrito contains 1,840 milligrams of sodium. That's 80% of your recommended daily intake. Clean ingredients, but the same addictive salt levels as KFC. The exposure of GYG's business model reveals a relentless focus on speed and technology. They utilize advanced inventory management systems to ensure that their freshly grilled chicken is actually fresh, minimizing the time meat spends in holding bays. GYG's freshly grilled chicken spends an average of 47 minutes in a holding bay before service, thanks to their intelligent kitchen display systems that prioritize speed over true freshness. However, the Clean label is also a powerful piece of marketing armor. While their chicken is free of artificial additives, the sodium levels in their marinades and seasonings remain high, proving that even healthy fast food relies on the same flavor triggers as its fried counterparts. GYG's real weapon isn't the chicken, it's the AI-powered inventory system that predicts demand down to the 15-minute interval. This reduces waste, but it also means your fresh chicken was cooked before you even ordered it. Their success has forced legacy players like Red Rooster to introduce cleaner menu items, proving that GYG's influence on the Australian chicken market extends far beyond the burrito bowl. Clean is the new 15? More like sodium is the new addiction. If you're not subscribed to Jake States yet, do it now, because what Nando's is hiding about their marinated chicken will change how you order forever. 2. Nando's, the 24-hour marination myth. Nando's tells you their chicken marinates for 24 hours. What they don't tell you is that marination happens in a centralized facility 400 kilometers away from your plate. Nando's occupies a unique space between a fast food shop and a casual restaurant. Born in South Africa, but embraced wholeheartedly by Australians, Nando's exposed the public to the peri-peri heat scale. Nando's Australia operates 280 plus stores with annual revenue exceeding $600 million. But profit margins have been shrinking since 2019 due to shrinkflation backlash. Their secret is the 24-hour marination process. The 24-hour marination process. It happens in 3 mega facilities in NSW, VIC and QLD. Your fresh Nando's chicken was vacuum sealed and trucked to your local store days ago. Unlike many competitors who use tumblers to force brine and flavour into the meat in minutes, Nando's still relies on time. However, the brand has faced its own exposures regarding price and portion sizes. Price exposure: the average Nando's meal costs $23.50. That's 64% more expensive than KFC's equivalent meal, yet the chicken comes from the exact same Viata supplier. As it moved toward a quick service model to compete with the likes of Oporto, the prices remained at a restaurant level, leading to consumer backlash over shrinkflation. Nando's peri-peri sauce is manufactured by Peri-Peri International in South Africa and imported in 200-litre drums. That African authenticity? It's repackaged industrial product. Now, to counter this, Nando's has pivoted toward a heavy focus on sustainability. They have publicly committed to halving the carbon footprint of a Nando's meal by 2030, which involves deep diving into the environmental impact of chicken feed and manure management. Nando's claims they'll halve their carbon footprint by 2030, but internal reports show that 73% of their emissions come from chicken feed production, which they have zero control over because they don't own the farms. It's greenwashing disguised as corporate responsibility. This level of transparency is rare in the fast food world and exposes the increasing pressure on chicken chains to be good citizens as well as good cooks. Their menu has also expanded into plant-based chicken, a move that exposes the growing segment of flexitarian Australians who love the peri-peri flavour but want to reduce their meat intake. 1. Rooster chicken, the ghost franchise empire. You've eaten Rooster chicken and didn't even know it. That's because it's the Ghost franchise, the most successful chicken brand you've never heard of. Rooster chicken is the most mysterious player on this list because most people don't realise it's a chain at all. You see the genuine Rooster chicken logo in independent takeaway shops, country roadhouses, and even some petrol stations. Rooster equipment is installed in over 1,200 independent takeaways, roadhouses and petrol stations across Australia, more locations than KFC and Red Rooster combined. The exposure here is that Rooster is a licensing model, not a traditional franchise. The Rooster pressure fryer costs $18,000 to $35,000, making it accessible to small operators who can't afford a $500,000 franchise fee. This means the shop owner pays for the specialised Rooster pressure fryer and the proprietary coating and marinade, but they don't have to follow a strict corporate manual for the rest of their business. The Rooster roulette exposure. Quality variance is 317% higher in Rooster locations compared to corporate chains, meaning your experience depends entirely on whether the owner follows the manual. This leads to the Rooster roulette, where the quality of the chicken can be world-class in one town and mediocre in the next. The roasting process itself is a technical marvel. By frying the chicken in a sealed environment, the moisture is trapped inside the meat and the oil is kept out. This creates a piece of chicken that is significantly less greasy than traditional open-fried chicken. Rooster's proprietary coating formula is manufactured in the USA and shipped to Australia in sealed foil packs. Even the shop owner doesn't know what's in it. Rooster dominates regional Australia. 78% of locations are in towns with populations under 50,000. In cities, it hides inside petrol stations and corner stores, making it the stealth chicken giant. The exposure of Rooster chicken reveals a hidden layer of the Australian food economy, where independent mom and pop shops use global technology to compete with the big brands without losing their local identity. It is the secret weapon of the independent Australian chicken shop. Still trust your local chicken shop? Subscribe to Jake States because I'm about to reveal the two companies that control every chicken you eat in Australia, and they don't want you to know. Deep analysis, the duopoly that controls your plate. To truly expose these 7 chains, one must look at the big chicken infrastructure that supports them. Here's the truth they'll never advertise on a billboard. 87% of all chicken eaten in Australia comes from just 2 companies, Ingham's and Baiada. Ingham's, owner of IGA's house brand chicken, supplies KFC, some Nando's locations, and hundreds of independent butchers. Baiada, owner of Steggles and Lilydale, supplies Oporto, Red Rooster, Coles, Woolworths, and half of Australia's charcoal chicken shops. That means when you choose between KFC and Oporto, you're not choosing different chickens, you're choosing different marketing departments. Australia's poultry industry is vertically integrated to an extent that would shock the average diner. 2 major processors, Ingham's and Baiada, supply the vast majority of the birds for these chains. This means that while the branding, spices and cooking methods differ, the bird itself, the biological input, is often exactly the same across multiple competitors. The exposure here is that the differentiation in the Australian chicken market is almost entirely a product of chemistry, marinades, and physics, cooking methods, rather than agricultural variety. The average Australian chicken lives 35 days from hatch to slaughter. It's raised in sheds, housing 40,000 birds in climate-controlled facilities in QLD, NSW, and VIC, the free-range chicken at your local chain. It costs 23% more to produce, but only commands a 12% price premium, so most chains quietly abandon it. Furthermore, the chicken wars of 2026 are increasingly being fought on the battlefield of the side dish. Here's why your fries are $6.50. Chips have a 400% markup. Chicken has an 80% markup. That means for every $15 you spend at a chicken shop, $9 of profit comes from the sides, not the bird. The chicken wars are actually carb wars, and you're the target. As the cost of chicken rises due to grain prices and energy costs, the profit margins for these chains are increasingly found in the chips, the gravy, and the soft drinks. KFC's potato mash, Red Rooster's pineapple fritters, and Oporto's spicy rice are the high-margin heroes that keep these businesses afloat. The exposure of the upsell culture in these chains reveals a calculated effort to move the consumer away from the bird and toward the fryer's cheaper, starchier outputs. The delivery revolution has also exposed a weakness in the chicken model. Chicken, particularly fried chicken, does not travel well. The steam trapped in a delivery box is the enemy of a crispy coating. This has led to a cold war of packaging technology. You may have noticed the increased use of vented boxes and specialized crunch-retaining coatings. These aren't just for show. They are multi-million-dollar investments designed to ensure that the exposed truth of the chicken remains positive even after a 30-minute motorcycle ride in a thermal bag. The future, when the chicken runs out. The exposure of these 7 chains reveals a hard truth. Australian chicken isn't a food, it's a financial instrument. You're not buying protein. You're buying branding, nostalgia, and engineered addiction wrapped in cardboard that costs more than the meal inside it. The flame grill is gas. The charcoal is ceramic. The secret recipe is a lawsuit strategy. And the chicken? It's the same bird, no matter whose logo is on the box. But here's the real question. What happens when the chicken runs out? As we look toward the future, the exposure of these chains will likely move toward the lab. Climate change is hitting Australian grain production, which means chicken feed is about to skyrocket. Cultivated or cell-based chicken is on the horizon in Australia, with several startups aiming to provide the first slaughter-free nuggets to major chains. Lab-grown chicken is 3 to 5 years from commercial viability, and the duopoly of Ingham's and Baiada is under investigation for price fixing. How these 7 giants navigate the transition from farmed to formed meat will be the next great chapter in the Australian chicken story. For now, the nation remains obsessed with the char, the crunch, and the salt, proving that while the methods of exposure change, the Australian appetite for chicken is eternal. Next week on Jake States, I'm exposing more food atrocities that Australia allows but are banned in the EU. Subscribe now, because the next time you bite into that chicken, you'll finally know what you're really eating, and it's not what's on the menu. Like, share and turn on notifications. The chicken industry doesn't want this video to reach 1 million views. Let's prove them wrong.